Hey everybody, I'm Joey.
And I'm Rachel, and this is Good Things to Watch with Joey and Rachel, a podcast with two pals who watch a lot of movies and TV. We'll be taking a deep dive into our favorite films and shows and sharing insights as to what you should be watching too.
Today, we'll be discussing our favorite holiday films and what makes them so darn special that we need to watch them every single year.
Just a word of warning, these episodes will contain spoilers, so if you haven't seen any of these films, what are you waiting for? Go watch them all and then come back.
How's your holiday watch going, Rachel?
It's going okay. It's not as fast and furious as it usually is. Of course, I've watched Christmas Vacation. Um, I haven't watched A Christmas Story yet because I saved that for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. But I am halfway through the first Christmas Chronicles.
Oh, how do you like it so far?
So far, so good. I really like Kurt Russell. We're Kurt Russell fans in this house. So far it's cute.
That I would say was my biggest thing about that movie. It is very cute, and it's nothing. I mean, I don't want to spoil it for you since you're halfway through it, but I mean, it's nothing more than it needs to be, and it's a lot of fun. I think you're gonna especially like the ending, but I won't reveal why. But it's a really cute movie, and I'm a big Kurt Russell fan too. I might have said it already on one of our podcasts, but I mentioned that my family's big Overboard fans.
Mm-hmm.
My parents always compared us to the children in that movie being as wild and destructive as those. So a little insulting.
I see that. I see that.
I love Kurt Russell. He's just Hollywood royalty to me, and such a good person. It seems. I hope he's as good as he seems in his movies. And I like the kid in that movie, the older brother,
Mm-hmm.
because he's from The Babysitter, and he's in a couple movies, and he's really funny. So I like him a lot. But yeah, I was really into Halloween though, but I think that's because it was getting dark out. It was cozy. It was kind of like it kind of felt like, oh, let's all like hide in our houses and watch the scary stuff. And me and you, I think we're both kind of on the same page of we're more horror fans than I think holiday theme movie is so um it it's such a niche thing, and you have to be just in the mood for it. But I do love holiday movies too. Not as much as horror movies, but I do love holiday movies and Harry Potter, because I feel like that crosses the line of both.
Well, that's actually a nice segue, Joey. How about we talk about some holiday horror?
Holiday horror. I love holiday horror sometimes. Not all the time though. Sometimes I think it's not really meant to be in there, but I think it's cool. And I was just saying to someone the other night, I think what I wish holiday movies kind of brought back, which I feel like they've gotten all a little sugary sweet. And this isn't just a talk on horror holiday films in general, but I feel like holiday films like um, the Santa Claus and Home Alone have and I think it's really in their music, and they have this eeriness to it that they don't really show in movies anymore. Like the Christmas Chronicles is a great example. It's not as eerie, but in the beginning of the Santa Claus, it's kind of creepy. It's like, oh, there's somebody out there right now. It's like, oh man, is there really Santa Claus? So I think, and the same thing with Home Alone. It kind of starts with this like creepy music, and it's like it kind of talks on the magic of the holiday. So I do like it when there is some scariness to it. But I guess if you want to go straight up holiday horror, I would have to say um, I recently started to enjoy it more because of Krampus. Michael Dougherty wrote and directed that movie, and he also wrote and directed Trick or Treat. And you know how big of a fan I am of Trick or Treat. So as soon as I heard he had another holiday themed horror movie, I was like, I'm going to check it out. It might, with the exception of the ending, fizzles out kind of quickly. Like it all happens just kind of really quick. Everyone's like fates happen. But I really liked it. It's like they use a lot of live action animatronic stuff for the creatures, and it kind of reminded me a lot of Gremlins.
I I guess I can see that. I didn't see Krampus until maybe 2 years ago, but I really enjoyed that one. That one's a good one. I like the ending. You don't get your perfect Hollywood happy ending. Um, I think the ending actually fits the whole theme of the movie, and it's a good one.
Yeah. What do you think happened to them? Do you think they're in some sort of Krampus world now where he, takes snow globes of the families he's taken or something like that? Or do you,
I could just picture some kind of creepy Krampus anti-Santa workshop where this guy's like this Krampus guy has got this like a whole shelf full of little snow globes full of families.
yeah, that's why I was wondering if it was that or if it's just like your last little scare kind of thing. Um, I think that movie was great. I think the only thing that could have made it better is, like I said, one is the ending was just a little better because it just seems like they pulled it out of a hat kind of thing. And I really wish Kathy Bates played the redheaded aunt.
Oh,
I feel
that
like,
would have been awesome.
you know,
That would have been good. I would have liked that. Been
not
cool.
that there's anything wrong with that actress, the one from Mr. Deeds. I always forget her name, and Two and a Half Men. She's great too. But
Yes.
I feel like Kathy Bates, I think, would have made it a little scarier, one, and just seeing her reactions to things. And I feel like it would have been more, it would have added a little more prestige to the movie.
Right. I'm going to take it back all the way back to 1976 and Christmas Evil.
Christmas Evil.
Christmas Evil. It's AKA You Better Watch Out, AKA I think Terror in Toyland was another
Uh,
was another alternate title. This actually stars was he Brandon Maggart? That's what it is. He's Fiona Apple's father.
oh, get out of here.
Yeah,
It sounds
yeah. It's all about this guy who, as a kid, he he had a trauma filled viewing of something with Santa Claus, and ever since then he's been kind of mentally ill, um, but just living a life. He's been very functional, um, and all it takes is a few mean people to push his buttons, and he just kind of goes on the warpath,
yeah.
while being very protective of Santa. His whole world is Christmas. He wants to be Santa. He's got naughty and nice lists of the children in the neighborhood. Maybe a little creepy, but it's innocent in his mind.
Definitely.
He's even got this little brat that lives next door, Moss Garcia, that's on his naughty list. It's really funny, and there's a lot of cameos by now more famous people, but it's a go-to for me every year, and I think he did a wonderful job, and I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that one. Is Black Christmas like a reboot of it but with a new title, or is it just a totally separate entity?
No, it's a totally separate entity. Black Christmas is a funny one because I, I have to go back and watch it again because I really did not enjoy my experience watching it the first time. I was with a group of my friends, and one of them felt the need to do like commentary over the whole movie, even though it was the first time I was watching it.
Yeah.
So it kind of took away a lot of enjoyment for me. I think he was just excited to have me watch this movie finally, but it took away all the enjoyment for me.
That's really frustrating how that can happen sometimes.
Hmm.
I think I love Gremlins.
Cool.
I don't know if that counts as a horror movie truly, because it's more like fantasy, because it's not very scary. Um,
It is actually listed as a horror movie, like comedy horror.
yeah, it kind of falls in that somewhere. And it's definitely one of the better ones at that time to come out with these like little monsters. If you like compare things like with like Trolls or The Gate or other movies like that that kind of featured the smaller creatures like that. But I thought they were just funny enough that it worked well. I still like find myself humming some of the tunes from when they were kind of going nutty. Um, And
Mhm.
I really just like it. It feels kind of like, for some reason, it's like the horror in Christmas movies is that much worse because it's Christmas. And like it kind of even like falls into like something like It's a Wonderful Life, you know? It's not a horror movie at all, but the situation he's in is really scary. You know, he might lose his family and life forever because he wished it away. But it's interesting how, I guess, because you're thinking about family and all the important things in life around Christmas and such high stakes stuff. That's what makes it so, like, so gut wrenching, and so why it's so hard to watch some of those horror movies.
Right. You can't discount all the Silent Night, Deadly Night movies. I think there's what, 5 or 6 of those.
Yeah, there's quite a few of those.
I did watch at least 5 of them. And they're all bad movies, but they're good in that bad way and
Yeah,
bad in that good way. And then there's Don't Open Till Christmas and Silent Night, Bloody Night. I mean, you can go on forever all with all those one-offs that people produced over the years.
I like Christmas as a background to the story in a way. Like, not a horror movie, but an action movie that I love. Batman Returns. And I think that's a Tim Burton thing itself. Like, I think he was a producer of Nightmare Before Christmas. I don't think he directed it though, but
No.
he has a thing for Christmas and Halloween in a way that he really makes you feel the holiday throughout the movie. Like, that movie is a weirdly, like, good Christmas movie because they're very much thinking about the holiday. It's like you see the snow and the gifts, and the set design for it is really beautiful. And it's just funny to me that it's not really about the holiday. And I'm trying to think of any other movies like that that kind of fall in that same realm where Christmas is just the backdrop to what's happening. It's not the big deal of the movie. I guess Home Alone can kind of be like that.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. In fact, if you want to hear a lot more about that topic, you should watch Netflix's new show, the holiday movies that made us. I think it's called. It's just got 2 episodes. The first one is on Elf, and the second one is Nightmare Before Christmas. And it even talks about Tim Burton, how while the whole creation of Nightmare Before Christmas was happening, he was off doing Batman Returns.
Oh, that's so funny. So I wonder if that had a bigger effect on it.
It could have been because he had other people in charge. I mean, they would come to him with larger decisions and he would yay or nay or kick holes in walls, as they explain.
Yeah,
But he was pretty much hands off
that's
during the
so.
whole thing.
I didn't realize that the timeline timed up like that. But I guess stop motion takes forever to create, so that's probably why. Um, do you think that's a Christmas movie? Or do you think it's a Halloween movie?
You know what? I've tried to look at it from both angles. I really have. And it's funny because during Halloween, I consider it a Halloween movie. And at Christmas time, I consider it more of a Christmas movie. So I'm just going 50-50. It fits both, go with it.
Yeah, I almost kind of think it's like I like to think more of a Halloween movie because by the time you're at Christmas, the Halloween stuff that you're celebrating in real life is over, so you're not as excited for that. So it's almost kind of like retreading through something you just did 2 months ago. So I always looked at it as a more of a Halloween movie, but that's another pretty good one, pretty good Disney classic right there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And let's not forget Gremlins too. A nice follow-up to Gremlins.
Gremlins 2, it reminds me of something else. It's like they knew they weren't going to make this capture the same magic of the first one, so they're like, okay, why don't we poke fun at our own world? And I really like that they did that. I thought that was really clever. It's so funny because it works just enough. Like, it's just silly enough that you're like, okay, I'm buying this, and they're literally making fun of the original movie,
Right.
which
Right.
is nuts for that time frame too.
Right. And it adds to the fun, really. They just went outlandish, like you said, made fun of itself, had a great time with it. And I think it made for a better movie.
You know, the I forget his name. He's very famous for the you know, the him and the wife get hit by the gremlins in the truck, and he's the guy who's too drunk to go, drive home in the beginning. He's a famous actor. I just can't remember his name right now.
Dick something.
He's in like everything, and he was in a lot of stuff right at that time too. Like he's the garbage man in The Burbs,
Dick Miller.
which is another fantastic. He's great. But you know that what's funny is they bring him back in the sequel, and they were supposed to be the first one. You're not supposed to like assume that they survived what they did, but the sequel was what made them survive it.
Right, right.
I think I like the. I'm not sure that the second one is a Christmas movie. Actually,
I believe it. Yeah, I believe it is.
it takes place at Christmas. Because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm definitely getting much more of a holiday vibe thinking about the first one than the second one.
But you know what? This whole discussion is making me want to watch it again.
Well, I
I
think
want to watch
that's the
them
whole.
both.
I don't remember if that was a Christmas movie, but I would say for outside the realm of normal Christmas holiday celebrations, I do love Batman Returns as like a little Joey holiday movie. I know I don't. It's not technically a holiday movie, but for me, it's a great time to watch Batman Returns. And I think Tim Burton was one of the best Batman creators. Period. And it's just fun that it's also a holiday film.
Now that we're talking about holiday films and what makes a holiday film, should we have our discussion on Die Hard?
The question you want to ask and pose out to the people listening to this is Die Hard a Christmas film? And I say no.
And you say no. Well, I say yes.
You say yes?
So tell me why you say no.
Well, just kind of like how I was saying, like I enjoy Batman Returns for my own like Christmas viewing. I don't necessarily define that as a Christmas film, and I think that's kind of the thing here. For me, the film had like it can have a backdrop of Christmas, and it doesn't have to be about Christmas though. And I think that's the same thing with Die Hard, is that yeah, the Christmas backdrop is there, but Christmas isn't the whole purpose of the movie or the main reason of why what's happening is happening. And that's I guess that's my main argument behind it. I don't really get too argumentative towards people who try to say it is a Christmas movie. I think to each his own. Like I said, I love watching Batman Returns around Christmas time. And I don't know if it's Danny DeVito's Penguin or Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. You know, she did those whip things herself, right?
Oh, did she?
She did all those stunts herself in that crazy costume. She's an amazing actress. But yes,
That's amazing.
Die Hard, one of the greatest action movies ever. My dad kind of looks like Bruce Willis. I'm not sure if he's doing it on purpose. Uh, but I like Die Hard for sure. But tell me why you think it is a Christmas movie.
Okay, so maybe it's not a Christmas movie in the traditional sense where you take that out every year and you watch it strictly as a Christmas movie. So we have several Christmas movies that I won't watch any other time of year because, it's May and June and I don't want to watch, A Christmas Story. I save that for Christmas.
Yeah.
So Die Hard, yeah, I could watch it probably at any time of the year, pretty much.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
But this whole thing happens at a holiday party. It's centered around a holiday party. You have
Yeah.
him with the Santa hat. You have him writing "ho ho ho" on the guy. Eh, eh, there's holiday songs in it.
Okay. You're right.
So,
Music's a big proponent of it. But
so I put that all together and I sit here and I go, okay, so maybe it's not traditional, but I think there's enough of a Christmas backdrop
maybe.
for a fan to call it a Christmas movie if they see it that way.
I have to rewatch it because if the sequels all fell on Christmas too, I would give you that. And I don't believe the second one does, nor the other.
So either.
I just know the second one also takes place in the winter. But that's the thing. If they all took place on Christmas, I'd 100% say yes. I'd give it to you. I do want to give it another watch because I want to hear how much Christmas music is in there. Because the score music is not holiday-esque, and I think score music is a bigger tell on your genre of film versus the music that they're featuring in it, you know? But
And Hans Gruber really is a seasick crocodile.
yeah, he really is. And I'll tell you this too. You know the movie with Seth Rogen, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Anthony Mackie that I loved the night before.
Yeah.
I just think for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, I'm a big Seth Rogen fan and a big Joseph Gordon-Levitt fan. So it gives you a bunch of comedy and a bunch of heart in one little Christmas package, and it's so much fun. But they do talk about Hans Gruber. Like there's this character, and I forget, she's a famous comedian, and I can't remember her name. She's got like this wild dark curly hair. She's really short, but really, really funny. I think she was in that Girls Trip movie. Um, but she's wearing like a Grinch outfit, and you don't realize until she says it because it looks just like a green coat with like frills around the neck and the wrists. And then she's like, "Oh yeah, sorry, I hate Christmas. I don't mean to be like a Grinch or anything." And I'm like, "Oh God, she's dressed like the Grinch. I didn't even realize." But she's like saying she's about to do this dive off of this building after she robs these guys. And she's like, "I'm the Hans Gruber of Christmas, baby." And then she just falls back off of this building into a garbage truck. And yes, it's ridiculous, but I'd like it because it brought it back into the mainstream of Die Hard being a Christmas movie. And I just never thought of it that way. So I think with time, you might be right.
Yeah, but I'll also concede that there's enough not to be Christmas in there for you to be right too. So while this house will still consider it a Christmas film, you can go ahead and consider it not a Christmas film.
Well, I guess our two houses will war forever and our children will hate each other for this.
Hey, it's happened before.
It has happened before, it'll happen again. And over Die Hard, it's happened over less intense arguments. So I think it's going to have to happen.
I will give you that also the cinematographer has come out recently and said it's not a Christmas film.
There you go.
Okay. And Bruce Willis has also said that also, but he's very Grinchy from what I understand. So I really won't take that into consideration much. But the cinematographer says it's not. But I'll argue with him too.
I wish he was a nicer guy. I've heard just such horrible things. And I really love him, and that's why I think I get so upset about it. Is I really want him to be like a wonderful guy, and I just feel like he's not, and it makes me sad.
It is sad. People have said the same about Will Ferrell too.
Oh, really? That's too bad too. I mean, truthfully, there's only like probably like 2 or 3 movies of his I really love. For the most part, I'm not a Will Ferrell fan, and I'll throw this out here now on our holiday podcast. I don't care for Elf. Yep.
Okay, tell me why. Tell me why. Let's talk.
A little too Will Ferrell-y, a little too silly. I don't like a lot of his acting, and I'm not saying that he's bad. I'm not like the man's famous, like very funny and famous for a reason, but it's just like every once in a while, I don't like all of his characters are a little too mature and that whole character. And I don't know. I can't even finish it, to be honest. Like every time it's on, I'm just like, I have finished it, but I'm just like, I can't watch it. And like I said, I only like 2 or 3 movies that he's in, and maybe it's just 2 actually. Anchorman and Blades of Glory. That just got my funny bone for some reason. I don't know why that one did. It's not like a very famous one.
Never liked Step Brothers.
No, it's another one I think is a little bit like, oh, they're kind of both super annoying. I don't know why. I want to like it. I understand everyone loves it, and I feel like I'm such a big movie guy, and I'm on the outside of this Will Ferrell realm that I can't wrap my head around. Oh, I also like Kicking and Screaming.
Never saw that.
He's almost normal for most of it. He's almost like not even Will Ferrell-esque. And Mike Ditka's in it, which is just hilarious. Like he's really funny in it. But yeah, not the biggest fan of Elf or Will Ferrell, period. And I guess while I'm just going at this for Christmas movies, I'm also, or holiday movies, my apologies. God, Holiday Road over here. Um, I'm also not a big fan of the original claymation movies, like Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Rudolph the Red Nose. Rudolph I like more, definitely like more.
How dare you, sir?
I like Rudolph, but Santa Claus is Coming to Town really scares me. Their eyes are looking all over the place. They're darting, and I don't know. I just don't like the stop motion, and I don't not like stop motion. Fantastic Mr. Fox is like my favorite movie ever. Um, but yeah, the old stuff and like Frosty the Snowman, I'm not crazy about. I grew up watching them, but I just feel like I found stuff I like better throughout the years.
Not the Year Without a Santa Claus with the snow miser and the heat miser.
Oh, that one, the I'm Mr. White Christmas, I'm Mr. Snow, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was a little better. I think it was really Santa Claus Coming to Town was the one that really just rubbed me the wrong way. They look creepy.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I'll go with you there. They
Yeah,
look a little creepy, but I love them. They're classics. I grew up on them.
I mean, I did too. I get it. I do agree that you have to watch them, kind of. But um, I think if I don't know, because they have made remakes and sequels to those, like in the '90s, and they weren't good. But it's like I almost think if it was made now, it would be made better because of technology is better. But yeah, well, we have them, and that's that. But um, something we were chatting about the other day that I wanted to kind of segue into is we couldn't find much for Hanukkah movies.
No, Hanukkah is so underrepresented when it comes to holiday films. It really is.
It bothers me too because I think it's kind of just as magical of a story. It's really cool. Um, but yeah, we were looking up stuff for our trivia thing that we were putting together for the holidays, and there is very, very little for Hanukkah. And we were very blessed to get Adam Sandler to make Eight Crazy Nights, which I think that movie, yes, definitely raunchy, but it's got, I think over the years, as years go by, it just gets more and more loved because it is the only Hanukkah movie. Not the only one, but the only one that's really kind of made it through like the mainstream and as has real consciousness around this time of year. And people who don't celebrate Hanukkah love it. It's a really widely loved film. I like the animation in it. The music's great. The snow is great. I love how movies always do that. Like movies always have so much snow before the holidays, and I don't know if global warming's just gotten worse over the couple of years, but it's just like not. It's never that much snow on the ground before like weeks before Christmas, except for tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say maybe 6, 7 years ago, there was a freak snowstorm around Halloween
Yeah, I
in
remember
the
that.
area. But yeah, you're right. Typically that doesn't happen. I do like Eight Crazy Nights. I need to see it again because I have not seen it in so long. So I don't remember a lot of it, but I did enjoy that one. Adam Sandler he's great in almost everything he does.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a few things he
Well,
should
there's a few things.
stop doing, like the ridiculous six and things like that. But
Let's not even talk about going overboard.
yes, really. But he seems to be on an upswing, and I think he 100% deserves it because yeah, he made a slew of really bad movies. Yeah, but he also made a slew of really bad movies we all loved at the same time. And I think that's something really great about him in general. And I think that shouldn't be like hated on, you know. I mean, some
Mhm.
bad movies are great, and I think Mr. Deeds is one of my favorite movies ever. I love Mr. Deeds. But yeah, I really like Eight Crazy Nights. Another one that I did see, and it's a Disney Channel movie, and I don't think I think I asked you and you haven't saw it, but it's another movie called Full Court Miracle.
Yeah,
That
no, I didn't see that.
that one was really good actually. It was like better than regular Disney Channel original movies, but it just didn't get so much hype. And it was the kid. Do you ever see the Max Keeble's Big Move?
I know of it. I've never seen that.
It's a very cute movie, and there's a lot of young stars in it who are still kind of big today.
Oh, wait a minute. Is that the one where the kid thinks he's moving, so he does all this crazy stuff? Okay, I did see bits of that. I don't think I saw the whole thing.
The principal's the father from 10 Things I Hate About You, and he's just hilarious in it. And yeah, I just love that actor. He should just be in so much more. Um, but the kid in it, he's also the son of Michelle Pfeiffer, another Michelle Pfeiffer reference in one podcast. That's a good one. He's the son of Michelle Pfeiffer's character in One Fine Day, that movie with George Clooney.
Okay.
I love that movie. But I really like that kid, and I think his name's Alex D. Lins, and I think he might be in
Oh, okay. Yep.
Home Alone 3. Oh man, another connection there. So that's why I really liked him. It was like right after kind of the kid's adolescence. He was just becoming a teenager, and it's all about him and his family around Hanukkah time and the basketball team, and you know, wanting to make it to the end. And then the cool thing about it was like they're playing during a thunderstorm, and the rules are like we'll play until the lights go off for the championship because there's nothing we can do to keep it going. So they put on the generator, and it's all about how the generator's going for like however many more minutes than it's supposed to, and keeps it open for them. And it's very cute. And just talking, I might watch it tonight. I have Disney Plus. I might just do that. And it's Hanukkah. Gosh darn it, Rachel. I'm gonna watch this kid play basketball. But if you're ever looking for it, and I know you're gonna get Disney Plus soon because of The Mandalorian, and you have to, and I've been begging you to for months. Um, Full Court Miracle, very really a good holiday Hanukkah movie if you're looking for it.
Cool. Cool. I will check that out. What would you say are the best movies with great set design? How?
I Let's see. I guess it who makes the best snow. Um, Christmas Vacation does a really good job at making you feel like the whole world is in this Christmas Vacation time frame.
Hmm.
And it might, I think, is it's like they're set, like they have the snow, they have the lights, they have Christmas knickknacks all over the house. Um, and which is funny about that movie because they never actually show Christmas Day.
Right.
It's
Right.
up Eve, and I like that because I like Christmas Eve better than Christmas Day because I feel like everyone's kind of just done.
Right.
But I feel like that's a great one set design. Oh, of course, Home Alone. How can you? I mean, how can you not talk? How can you talk about Christmas set design and not talk about that house that that man somehow owns?
Oh, I know. That's such a gorgeous house.
That's a gorgeous house, and you show all the other houses in that, and the traps and the props and everything that they use for that. I think is really great. Krampus, I already said how I really like the animation. The animatronics are really good. I think Krampus himself looked great. I love the noise he makes. The howl is really good. And he's a really good looking monster. I think that was a really great one. Gremlins is another great one that really captures it well. Um, Just Friends, I think, does a good job, but only because they have a ton of snow throughout the whole movie, and they make so many points to talk about how cold it is. And there's not one point in that movie where I'm looking at it, I'm like, that looks like it's fake. The whole time, like, oh, that looks miserable because I hate when it gets too cold. Um, yeah, but I think just off the top of my head, those are some that just had great set design. And I think that's just so important, especially for a Christmas movie, is to, and I think that's what does such a great job with Batman. is you feel wrapping paper, you feel ribbons and tinsel and presents, and I don't know, it just it I think if you can do that well, you have a good holiday movie.
Agreed. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Before I talk about one of my favorites for set design, I'm going to go back to a funny set design. The aforementioned Christmas Evil. There's a scene at the end where the guy's being chased um, by the police, but he's also being chased by his brother, his older brother, played by Jeffrey DeMunn from The Walking Dead and Shawshank Redemption. Um, and the brother and Jeffrey DeMunn falls down this hill. It's supposed to be snow-covered hill, and it's a low-budget film, so it's just like a sheet. So as Jeffrey DeMunn is falling, the sheet is kind of like moving along with him.
Oh, that's
It's,
hilarious.
it's a highlight of the movie. You just have to watch that movie. It's great. But that's just, we laugh about that every year. So one of my favorites for set design is A Christmas Story. You
Oh yeah.
have a film that's taking place in like they've never quite pinpointed it, but it's like the late 30s, early 40s. So you have those classic vintage cars, and you have all the costuming and the homes, the interiors, all the little knickknacks and housewares. I think it was beautifully done. I mean, if you want to be picky, you can look really, really, really closely, maybe in the background, and see like a modern car going by somewhere. But for the most part, they really locked it down, and they really put out something that looks incredible.
Yeah.
It looks believable.
You ever see a movie with Chevy Chase called Funny Farm?
I saw Funny Farm a long time ago.
It's kind of like Vacation before Vacation. It really is almost like, I used to think it was a prequel to the Vacation movie because it was just him and the wife. I'm like, oh, maybe this is like a movie beforehand. But they show Christmas in that movie, and they're trying to sell their house, and the whole premise is like the whole town's nuts. So they're paying people to help give this illusion that it's this beautiful small town. Um, so what they do is they give them like all these old magazines of what Christmas was like back in the day, um, and they have to reenact it. But because of that, it's like, and it's only like a 20-minute scene in the movie. I think it's like the last 20 or 30 minutes at the end of the movie. But they sell it so well. It looks like such a beautiful small town Christmas, and I love it because it's only this little piece of the movie. But if you're looking for a good one, that's another great one.
Cool. Should we now shift into our second kind of argument?
I think we have to. We're already going for like almost 40 minutes in, so I think we got to get this thing in here.
Okay, so let's discuss there's an often wide debate here that whether Christmas Vacation is a sequel or a prequel.
Yeah.
Okay, and I know when I talked to you a couple weeks ago, I was more on the side of it being a prequel, honestly. Because I've seen that movie so many times and I can pick it apart and whatever. I'm not even 50-50 anymore. I'm more in this section of sequel now, but there's room for kind of a prequel involved here. And I know you can't focus on the kids because Audrey in Christmas Vacation appears older than Dana Barron's Audrey in Vacation, but yet you have Johnny Galecki who appears younger than Anthony Michael Hall, so you really can't use the kids as a guideline.
Yeah, that's true.
So what makes it like a sequel is, you do have actually more on that side. You have Eddie talking about the plate in his head it's now a plastic plate because the metal plate was making the microwave go on. Well, whenever the microwave went off, it would make him forget who he was for a few days. And he did talk about the plate in Vacation.
Right.
You also have the fact that he now has the RV because he's been out of work for 7 years, holding out for a management position.
They had the house in the original.
Yes, and in Vacation he has the house. So there is actually more to the side of sequel. And
Yeah.
I used to focus on the shoes a lot because in Christmas Vacation, Eddie is wearing the shoes that he appears to give Clark in Vacation. So that kind of makes it look like a prequel. But in watching Vacation again, he makes a comment about giving Clark the pair of shoes just like his.
Mhm.
So that kind of took away from the prequel argument. The one thing that still stands for me is that in Christmas Vacation, Ellen, when the SWAT team comes in, she says, "This is our first kidnapping,"
Yeah.
which isn't true because if Vacation is first, then they've
Yeah.
had one other would-be felony.
Yeah. I wonder if they describe kidnapping versus hostage as a little bit different
Maybe that's a technicality.
because he wasn't really moved anywhere. He was in the park the whole time, but I don't know. I mean, I think because they have the Wally World Cup also in Christmas Vacation, which makes me think, okay, well, they got it while they're in Wally World. And the fact that you only see two of the kids of what's their names, because I feel like the rest of them are elsewhere, because they have a bunch of other kids.
Mm-hmm.
Also, who was it? An aunt that dies in the original in the car?
Aunt Edna.
Okay, because I was gonna say if that was one of their parents, that would definitely solidify that one. But what a weird! They just had some random aunt with them. That's so funny.
Yeah, and well, because Eddie is related to is on Ellen's side of the family.
Yeah,
He's related through Ellen, so it would be Ellen's Aunt Edna also. But they're supposed to be delivering her to Norman, who's her son.
yeah,
So that's their cousin. But yeah, I don't know, exactly who Aunt Edna is and how she was related. I mean, we still don't even know who Aunt Bethany is, and how she's related.
we know everything we need to know about Aunt Bethany.
I love Aunt Bethany.
That blessing.
God, hello everybody. I should say it.
Hello, everybody.
It kills me every time. Oh my God, she's the best. Betty Boop. She was the best.
Yeah, she was really great. Um, I think we have to get into our argument of the night because we only have a couple minutes left to chat about this, and I think we need to talk about our favorite holiday movies and which ones are better. And I think we need to talk about those two subjects that we decided on: most recent one and all time.
Oh. All right, you go ahead and you start.
Oh gosh, darn it! You would. Most recent, I know I said it already, but I'll give it to The Night Before. I think it's a really underrated holiday film. In general, I feel like it really flew under the radar with its promotions. I'm not sure why, because it reminds me a lot of Pineapple Express, 50/50. It was just really, it had a really funny cast. Um, yeah, I don't know, I think it was one of the better ones that came out, and I think for me too, it came out at a time that was relevant for me because a lot of it's about growing up and having families of your own and not carrying on the same traditions that you have with your friends growing up because that's just life. And that was kind of the age group I was in. I was like getting out of college and my friends are starting to have kids and things like that. So I think that one really rung true for me too. And I just think it is so funny. I just can't get enough of that movie. Every year it's one of my favorites to watch since it came out. What's your favorite most recent?
Favorite most recent, I'm actually, I actually really don't have one. I have not admittedly watched a lot of holiday films in the last few years to actually be able to give a definitive answer on that. I mean, after Christmas Chronicles, it might be this because I'm really enjoying it so far. But I've kind of gotten more into, I really enjoy Christmas TV episodes more. And that's been kind of like more my focus. But what do you think about all time?
That's a really hard one. I don't know. I think actually no, never mind. I think I know what it is. I think it's the Santa Claus. I think it was just magical enough. It was just believable enough. I mean, believable in whatever sense of magic. I don't like the second and third one at all. I mean, the second one's like okay, but it just was not the same thing, and they shouldn't have tried for it. So it's either I think it's that, and I guess maybe Home Alone's another really big one for me. But how about yourself?
You know, Home Alone is definitely up there. It's it's very high up there, along with Home Alone 2. Home Alone 2 is just phenomenal. I know I've talked a lot about A Christmas Story so far this episode, and that would have been my favorite had you asked me 15, 20 years ago, you know, or even just as a kid. Um, I lean more towards Christmas Vacation now because I find I watch that so much more often. That is just so full of laughs for me, and it hits the mark every time. I laugh in the same places, no matter how many times I've seen it. So ultimately, I'm actually torn between Christmas Vacation and either of the Home Alones.
I might be on.
Home Alone 2, I think I even kind of maybe like a little more. It's I know it's kind of difficult to say that, but you know.
I think I might like Christmas Vacation. That's another favorite for me. I don't want to like excel that one out of there because it's one of my all-time favorites and the same kind of thing. I laugh hysterically at that movie. It also pains me to think that Jim Carrey's also a real jerk, or not Jim Carrey, Chevy Chase.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There are a lot of stories about that. That is, it is painful to find out somebody that you admire so much is thought of like that.
Jim Carrey though is a gem, and I hope that he doesn't hear this because he's wonderful, and didn't mean to throw his name under the bus like that, and I love him as the Grinch. So there. Oh, it's just so funny. I love the original Grinch, but I know some people are like purist Grinch fans, but I love that Grinch. Love it. Are you?
I actually did see that. And to be honest, I'm not a huge Jim Carrey fan at all. I do like a couple of his movies. Grinch, I'm mad on, mostly because I really enjoy the original animated, cartoon, and really wasn't hip on a live action. Um, but I do have to say that Jim Carrey was phenomenal in A Christmas Carol.
Oh,
Was
I didn't see.
phenomenal in that.
I didn't see that one. I
It
heard it.
it was done in the same style, um, the same kind of animation as Polar Express,
Yeah.
where like Tom Hanks, he played multiple roles.
Oh, I love the Polar Express too.
Yeah, if you like that style, you'll definitely like the Christmas Carol with Jim Carrey in it. He was so phenomenal in that, and that's kind of harder for me to say.
I'll check it out. I'm more of a fan of a Muppets Christmas Carol because Michael Caine is one of the best Scrooges ever, right up there with Bill Murray. Um,
Who doesn't love that?
yeah, I love the Muppets. I just like. I think it's because they're felt and they're not scary puppets like other puppets are.
But then, how can you not have ever seen Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas?
There's a lot of Muppet stuff out there that I was focusing on. I guess
It's
I'm still
so
petitioning to
sweet.
read.
It's such a sweet story, and it's narrated by Kermit the Frog, and it's such a classic. You really have to see it. You'll fall in love with it.
Well, I'll have to take a look for it. Definitely will. I'm excited for the holidays. I think this discussion got me more in the mood to watch some holiday films, and I think I might just go watch some while I'm cooking dinner right after this.
I think you should. I'm actually inspired to drag out my DVDs of Gremlins and Gremlins 2.
Will you please let me know if Gremlins 2 takes place during Christmas? Because now that we've said this, I really want to know. I'm very
I've
curious.
always thought it was because I thought it was like a year or two after the first one, and I thought it was holiday time again. But it has been a good probably 10 years since I've seen Gremlins 2. So I'm kind of fuzzy on that. But
Well,
I'll watch it and I'll let you know.
you know what that means, Rachel. It just means that if 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 it is a Christmas movie, it just had a poor set design. Because obviously, I didn't recall it being a Christmas movie.
So if you didn't see it, it didn't happen.
Basically, I'm just saying that if the set design was good and you felt like there was Christmas everywhere, you would remember it. But it clearly wasn't strong enough to make us remember it. So I'm not saying it's not a Christmas movie. I'm just saying, like, they didn't really hit that one out of the park.
Well, either way, whether it is or isn't, if I'm going to watch Gremlins, I may as well watch Gremlins too.
You might as well. They're great movies. We're still overdue for that Gremlins 3.
We are.
I don't know if it'll ever come.
I don't know, but I don't know. I'm not really into the whole reboot thing, but I think I would kind of be excited about a Gremlins 3 after so long.
I don't mind these super long after sequels because some of them do well, like Blade Runner 2049 and things like that. And I think after you do have a good enough time away from the thing, you can come up with new reasons to bring it back, like Force Awakens. Like, I think the sequel trilogy of Star Wars is its own animal entirely and its own podcast discussion all its own. But I think The Force Awakens did something right, and it was like you really missed it. It was just wasn't around for 15 years or some similar time, maybe more like 10. But yeah.
We didn't discuss the Star Wars holiday special. Maybe maybe we're better off for not discussing it.
Well, I guess we're just gonna have to wait to their new one that they're gonna put out eventually, and with all the new stuff that's coming out.
Hey, they're not going to have B. Arthur and Carrie Fisher singing.
Well, it won't be
the same. It won't be the same.
Well, B. Arthur had a particularly deep voice, so I'm sure there's a man out there that we can get to sing her part. I heard she was rude to Betty White, and I won't hear a word about that woman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I heard she was like really mean to Betty White on the set of the Golden Girls. Like, she thought she was kind of like dim-witted.
Well, isn't that getting a little too into character? Because who was Betty White's character was like Rose, right? She played a nitwit, but that doesn't mean that she was.
They didn't get along, and that she treated her poorly, unfortunately.
That's unfortunate.
Well, Betty White had a very successful career very far after that, so I think she showed her.
And she's had a long, great life. I mean, bless that woman. She's still at it.
Yeah, I wish nothing for the best for Betty White this Christmas. That's my one holiday wish, is that Betty White has a wonderful holiday.
That's the best holiday wish ever.
I think with that, we should just cut right into our outro.
I think so.
Thank you so much for joining us. If you like what you heard today, give us a big thumbs up, join us on the discussion by leaving a comment, and while you're at it, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss any new episodes. We'll see you next time, and everybody, please enjoy your holiday season, and don't forget to not feed your mugwai after midnight. This has been Joey and Rachel.